Hello and welcome to Concert Pipeline. I'm Steve Jones. Today on the program we have Uncle Bart and the Dirty Bastards. That is right. I had a chance to talk to Silvano Ancellotti from Italy about their band, about some of their influences, which there's some overlap between music that they're very passionate about and music that I have a lot of history and passion about. So we'll get into that in a little bit. Before we do, let me break open my day. This opening and closing of the program is being recorded at the end of what is a very long day for me. And you might be able to see it in my eyes. You might be able to see it in my face if you're watching this on YouTube. I got some sun, I think, but I didn't completely burn, so that's a good thing. Because even though I sunscreen, I burn. I'm Irish. I got Irish, and it's just like it's either white or red. There's no tan in my genes. Thanks, Mom and Dad. But I was out all day. My day started at 3 a.m. Technically, though, because my day started at 3 a.m., I was awake, every hour from 12 a.m. on. And I just kept waking up every hour because it's a thing where you think you're going to oversleep and your body doesn't let you fully sleep right. So I went to sleep at 9 o'clock last night to offset that. I haven't even said yet what I did today, but I went out to Half Moon Bay with my buddy John, and we went fishing for salmon. Which I've never been salmon fishing. And I'm starting to get into fishing a bit, and I've gone out with John a handful of times, and he's teaching me a lot about fishing and the different types of fishing. Yesterday we went to a fishing store and got some of the things I needed to be able to properly salmon fish. And he's been, super helpful. He's a good mentor. I think sometimes he grows a little impatient with my naivety or my lack of knowledge or what have you in terms of fishing, but he does love to teach, and that's a cool thing in a buddy. He's mostly patient with me, and when he's not, it's justifiably so. Yesterday I went over, after we went to the fishing store, I went over to his house, and he had been telling me practice tying knots, do it every day for a few minutes, and I'm like, I can't do that, dude. I got kids and I got other things going on, and I have to be in a mindset to be working on my fishing knots. It's an important skill, and in terms of saving time, because we're out kayaking fishing, and he doesn't want to have to wait on me, and it's also frustrating for both of us, really, right? Because it takes me forever. That's not the fun part, and also I'm dragging behind when I'm focusing on tying knots. So. I went to his house, and while we were getting some fishing stuff together, he made me tie knots repeatedly. One particular knot, a Palmer knot, he made me tie it over and over until I could tie the knot and cut the line within under 30 seconds repeatedly each time for at least 5 times. So I appreciate that attention and focus that he helped me have, so that I'm not making a fool of myself out in the water. So again, day starts very early. 3 a.m. I get up, and even more like a madman, I get on the Peloton for 15 minutes and do a quick ride before I go over to meet my buddy John, and we have to load up the kayaks on his truck. He has Hobie kayaks, so you're pedaling through this kayak, and you don't have to paddle with an oar while you're trying to fish, which is a big win. And I don't have one of those kayaks. It's pretty pricey, and above what I can pay for a kayak with all that I have cooking right now. So I'm sure the time will come where he will insist I get one, but I'm not there yet. So anyway, yeah, that was the plan. It was John's birthday, by the way. Happy birthday, John! And so I wanted to go out with him and go fishing. He was down to do it, and so I said sure. And so we did the drive to Half Moon Bay. we got the kayaks unloaded and all the gear unloaded and everything down by the water by like 6 a.m. And we were out shortly after that. And it was cold. My feet were chilly. My hands were also chilly, and and I don't know. I'll tell you, there are parts of it that I enjoy about fishing. It's great to get out. I always loved getting outdoors and doing stuff outdoors, but with this sort of fishing, you're paddling the whole time, and we were out from just after 6 a.m. until just before 1 p.m. I think. So over 6 hours of paddling, and which ended up being just about 10 miles of paddling in these kayaks nonstop. You're not really stopping at all. You got to keep the kayak moving, even if you're moving in circles and offset in one area and not one particular destination. You got to keep moving. So that's a challenge, because you just want to take a break at some point. You're not getting out of the kayak for over 6 hours. It's a long time. And even when I did the century ride with my buddy Joe, 100 miles, like there were a couple times we got off the bike at stops over the course of the 7 hours that we were biking. And I mean, we had a couple of pit stops where we at least got to get off and go to the bathroom. And my wetsuit is a one piece, and so I didn't drink anything while I was out there. Not any beer, not any water or anything. Luckily, it was overcast. As I mentioned, it was chilly, so I didn't feel like I needed to keep hydrating too much. And a couple of hours in, the pain started coming from needing to go to the bathroom. And in previous times that we've gone out fishing on calmer water, I'll say, I was able to maneuver where I could get my life vest off and take off part of my wetsuit, and be able to get a bottle of water that I chug, and then use the bottle to relieve myself, let's say. This time, not so much. The water was too choppy. It was nuts. I was not comfortable taking off my life vest in that choppy water in the bay. I was not comfortable pulling down my wetsuit to be able to have access to relieve myself. And it just became so painful. I knew there were several hours left until we were done. We were slowly working our way back to the shore. And I was texting with my buddy Joe, and he's like, why don't you just go in the wetsuit? I think that's what people do out there, right? I'm like, I didn't say this, but I was like, I think they do. If you're swimming in the wetsuit, maybe, right? You could do that sort of thing. But if you're sitting in a kayak, I don't know. It felt weird. It felt weird. And so for probably an hour, I continued to hold it, and to the point where I was like, we're not going back yet. We're not going to get back. It's going to be a couple hours. And then even then, like, I'm going to have to make a mad rush to the bathroom. It's going to be, rough. I'm going to get fucking urinary infection or something by holding it for so many hours. And so I let it flow. I let it flow in the wetsuit. And it felt so good. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm admitting this right now. But I did. And it felt good. And I do not regret it. And it was warm. It was warm too. Because, that's how that works. So, I splashed some water and everything. I don't know how much good that did, but I splashed water around. And I wasn't planning on telling John even about the situation that happened until a little bit later. He was asking me, he's like, at any point today were you uncomfortable? Kind of with the setup, and and he just said, were you uncomfortable? And I said no, but then I took it back and I was like, well, since you asked, actually, I had to hold my piss for hours, and until I didn't, and I think he was not stoked on me getting in his truck, with that situation. But I brought a change of clothes, a change of underwear, and ultimately I stripped the wetsuit off and washed myself in the bay and everything, and it was fine. Okay, that's all I'm going to talk about that situation, other than to say for the trip as a whole, I did not walk away with any salmon. Neither did John. There was not many salmon that were caught out on the bay. One that we heard over the radio, and maybe no others outside of that. And there were probably 30 kayaks out there. So not a very great ratio. There was also a concerning situation that happened on the bay early in the morning where a boat hit a kayaker. And I don't know what exactly came of it, if that person was okay. It was a mess. The kayaker's stuff ended up all over the place. We saw his stuff, and we saw the boat taking the kayaker back towards shore as paramedics were on the shore. So fingers crossed everything is okay with that, and that the kayaker is okay. But there's some asshole boaters who just do not pay attention and go too fast out on the bay, and they just need to slow the hell down and realize that they're not the only ones on the water. So that was unfortunate. The day in the bay though ended with a good lunch where we sat on a patio and had a good meal. I had a French dip au jus with fries, and John had some calamari and fries. So it was solid. We worked our way back. Cleanup was really easy when we got back because we didn't have any fish to clean or anything. And overall, an okay day, but I am purely exhausted. I had to take a short nap before I could end the day. And I'm on borrowed time right now, but I made it. So that's the story. That's the moral of the story. All right. That's my story leading into our guest. Again, this is Uncle Bart and the Dirty Bastards. I had a chance to talk to Silvano. It was a lot of fun. Let's get into it. Yes, Silvano, right?
That's me, yeah.
Yeah, how's your day going so far?
It's quite nice. We are actually today. I'm working in another festival as a production. So I'm helping setting up things and stage and stuff. So
okay,
bad.
Nice. Do you do that a lot?
When we're not away with the band, I do this quite a lot, especially in this summer, since everybody is on tour,
Yeah, there's a lot of festivals for sure. So, yeah. Well, cool. Thanks for taking the time. I want to start kind of at the beginning. Like, what music did you listen to as a kid? What was on in your household?
Well, I started with punk rock, with hard rock, mostly, honestly, mostly from the US, I'm 42, so I started with Guns N' Roses, that kind of music,
Yeah.
And I still bring my Motorhead t-shirt everywhere.
Of course. I saw GNR last year actually, and they still put on a good show. His voice isn't what it used to be, but it was a great show, and they brought Dave Grohl out for the encore, which is cool because the Foo Fighters were playing also that the festival here, right. And it was a pretty amazing moment, So
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Did you even go this year to see them? No.
No, I didn't get to see him this year, but I saw him last year, and I saw him years ago on the Chinese Democracy tour also, but that wasn't the full band with Slash or anything along those lines. And that was the time when Axl was doing the thing, maybe I'll show up for shows, and came 2 hours late. It was I think 12:30 before they came on, 12:30 in the morning. I'm I'm exhausted waiting, but you gotta wait, sort of thing. So,
I do remember that.
Yeah. So that's cool. So your parents were, kind of had that going. Were they musically influencing to you at all?
Well, as I told you, we started that way. Still, we bring that kind of rock show kick when we play live. Even if we play Irish music or something in between, but we still try to look like a rock band, when you play live.
Yeah, for sure. And so did you have bands growing up, in high school that you were in and that sort of thing?
Yeah, well, mostly all the guys in the band, they started with some kind of punk rock or heavy metal band. Actually, couple of guys in the band at this thrash metal band that used to tour Europe quite a lot. Like the banjo player started in a thrash metal band.
Oh, really? Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, yeah.
Right? It's a little bit of a transition from that to a banjo, I guess, right? So,
Actually, you know, the picking
yeah,
isn't the same idea, you know.
yeah, yeah. That's really cool. So, I mean, and I know you're kind of have influences from like Dropkick Murphys and Flogging Molly and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Flogging Molly as well. Do you remember first time seeing them live?
Well, I can tell you that. I think it was, I don't know, 15 years ago, something like that. And I mean, I always even love like Irish punk, even Irish vibes. You know, we used to travel to Ireland a lot. And then we went to see Flogging Molly, and I barely knew the band. And I went to the club, and it was like the biggest mess
Yeah,
ever seen. You know, people dancing like crazy, and we say, "Wow, this is good." You know,
yeah,
this is good fun. You know, bring people together. We want to do that, and we try to do that.
yeah,
Yeah, really, I think we started the band after seeing in a very short time Dropkick Murphys and Flogging Molly. I was Drunken Lullaby tour, so
yeah.
that was good back in the days. And yeah, we said, let's try.
Yeah, for sure. I've seen them so many times over the years and interviewed them a number of times and everything. And I mean, I remember one time I interviewed them down in San Diego, and Dave King told me, he's like, you know, a wise man once told me, play every show like it's your last. And that man was Angus Young, you know, and they never put on a bad show. You know, it's amazing. It's just incredible, this freeing vibe of their music, and I see a lot of that in what you guys do as well. So it's really cool.
Good, thank you. But do you know we had few shows together with Flogging Molly in the end?
I know you played with Dropkick. I didn't know you had played with Flogging Molly too. How were those shows?
Very, very nice. We got this incredible show. We've been really, really lucky. I don't even how, but the very first show, Dropkick Murphys and Flogging Molly did together in Europe, was in Milan, and we were the opener. And I mean, it was a massive crowd, and everybody was very happy. But then, even better, the day after, we had a show in a small venue next to the sea, only with Flogging Molly, and we got so drunk together.
Oh, that's awesome! Yeah, they pull out the Guinness, and you know, of course, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, that's really cool. Was that like 4 years ago, maybe or so? I know they toured together. I think I saw them on that when they were touring together, and it was like 4 or 5 years ago, right?
Yeah, they randomly did this show together because the routing put them on the same day in Milan, and so the two organizers said, well, we should do them together instead of like fighting for the crowd. And it seems that's how it started.
Yeah. Hey, worked out well for you, right? So yeah. So tell me about 2007's when you formed Uncle Bard and the Dirty Bastards, right? Tell me about how the band came together. What was the dynamic like at the beginning?
Yeah, I mean, it really started as a prank since we were not very used to play, folk instruments. We were all a bit like punk rockers, metalhead, and that's it. And then we decided we had a reason to play a show together, all the guys in our area, putting bands together, and so we decided, let's try to do something with Irish punk since we really love the culture, we really love the sound. And on the first show, we were like 16 people playing.
Yeah,
and it was, and I'm sure it was horrible.
Almost as many people in the band as were in the venue, sort of thing, right?
No, it was 16 in a band.
Oh, 16 in the band. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. that's a lot. That's a lot going on stage. It's like
Yeah.
polyphonic spree almost, you know? So
Yeah, but you know, we just wanted to try something, and then we really some of us went well together, and we are basically good friends from the same town, and we decided to carry on, and it took quite a while to be decent, I guess. And so it was our side project, and then it turned into the main project for everybody in like 2 weeks. And
yeah.
so it was great.
Yeah, that's very cool. And so so during the pandemic more recently, right, you had to kind of change the vibe a little bit to meet the, you know, what was going on. I mean, well, I guess let's start with the album, the Men Behind the Glass, right? That was
Mm-hmm.
recorded right before, a couple months before the pandemic, you released it. And then,
Yeah.
you know, and then you're not able to play shows behind that. What was that like for you?
Yeah. We put like big effort on that album. We tried to step a little bit over just a simple Irish punk into something more like folkish, and we put much effort into that. And then it was very, very bad that we had no chance to play it live. Even there's the first video we released, which was Back on Your Feet, and we recorded that video in my garage, like hiding, because it was like full lockdown, so people were not able to get out their houses. So
Yeah, you had to be sneaky about it, huh? Yeah.
yeah. I mean, we put a lot of effort. We were quite proud of that album, and then there was no chance to play live. But we've been basically waiting instead of like trying to do alternative things, you know, live streaming or something like that. We just did one. And then we've been waiting until the things were coming back together, and then we're still around and touring it. So
Yeah.
seems like just old memory, this pandemic.
Yes, we're past it now. It's over, right? So
yeah, hopefully, yeah.
I know. But so you did some acoustic shows, though. I mean, how did you prepare for those?
At home by
Yeah.
ourselves. I mean, we really like to see people dancing at the shows, and you know, enjoy things. So it was not our kind of feel. So we just did one acoustic recording, and that's it. But we thought it was better to wait to have the full show and give the proper energy to the live shows.
Yeah. Yeah. And so tell me about how you guys went from the albums that you created to kind of transitioning that to the live show. Like, when you record, do you kind of think about the live dynamic and how this will play out in front of an audience?
I think you don't know you're thinking about the songs in their live version while you write them and you record it. But in the end, as a background, you always think how people can enjoy the music live. You know, if you decide to put a stop just to make people like jumping or, you know, clapping their hands, is probably, you don't even realize you're doing it, but that's how you think of writing the songs, basically. I'm not sure about this.
Yeah.
You're putting into a good question, but yeah, I think we always write a song with the acoustic guitar, and we put like words together and things. So yeah, when we put drums and electric guitar and stuff, we think quite a lot of the way they could make people like enjoy the show live.
Yeah. So tell me about signing to Angel Air Records. What was that like for you? Is that pretty exciting?
Yeah, because it was a very lucky random thing happening, because we were doing this show in France, and one of the guys were even home because of the COVID, and so we did a show in this small festival. And then the day after, we got this email from one of the guys from Angel Air, and he said, "Guys, I saw you yesterday. Why don't we work together?" And it was like, wow, like in the movies.
Yeah, yeah.
And so this thing started, and then we're starting right now, but it looks like it's working quite well. I mean, if I'm in touch with you, it's because
working.
we have yeah, exactly. Because we always been doing things like DIY, basically. And we're already happy with that. I mean, we used to tour Europe, we used to get around, and it was quite good enough. But then, if there is someone that can help us, why not?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And so they're supportive of the direction you want to take the band and everything, right? Like moving forward.
Yeah. Like, where are you from?
I'm from California, in the United States. Yeah.
All right, California. We never reach anybody in California thing before, so it's good.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, and you do you have some dates in the United States? I thought that you might be coming out here. Maybe not this far.
We came 2 years ago.
Okay.
For a festival in Ohio, and then we were supposed to come back like 2 years after, but then pandemic in the middle. So we're trying to arrange for probably the next year. If the promotion works in the US, maybe we can even tour a bit. It will be great.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So another thing that came out of lockdown, I saw a video that you did, the song 500 Miles. Tell me how that came about.
Well, pandemic was very, very boring.
Yes, I do know. I was there too.
But there's this other Italian band. They are good friends. They're called the Rumpled. And so they decided to put together these songs with some guests from different bands. And then they asked me to join. And I said, all right, let's do that. And let's do it like punk rock, with big guitars, jumps in my room. And it was anyway fun. I mean, we didn't really met because it was like
all virtual and
but it's fun. And then I like the song, the original one. Yeah.
I interviewed the Proclaimers years ago, a couple of times on their tour bus, and they were in town, and it's, I mean, the twins, I mean, they had this interesting dynamic that I remember, like when one was responding to a question, the other would have their head down and just like be quiet and thinking, and then the other kind of the same thing. It was really an interesting style of replying to questions in an interview. Kind of having that conversation.
Crazy way,
yeah. But they were pretty cool. Getting put on a good show, so it was good times. And so I saw a picture. Do you guys have a beer for your band?
As a promotion for one of the shows, we just teamed up with this small brewery from our area, and then so we took three titles from 3 songs from the Man Behind the Glass, and then we made the beers, and so we ended up drinking more than the ones we were selling, but
like, we need to make sure this is good. This represents the band, right? We need to make sure this represents the band.
Exactly.
Yes, I can get behind that. Yeah. Was the beer good? Did it? Yeah.
Well, it was very good, of course. But then we even grabbed this other friend of ours, which is a tattoo artist, and he made these custom labels for us. So basically, if you put together like punk rock music, beer, and tattoos, that's the whole universe we like is like complete,
That sums you up in a nutshell, right, son? You should keep the beer going for sure. So that's I mean.
Yeah. We still have some. No worries.
Oh, good. Okay.
I don't know if we can send them to California.
It might be kind of expensive, but I'll, if you need a taste tester, I'll help you out. Okay. So. Yeah. So let's talk about the new album a little bit. It's coming out in August. The Story So Far, and it's a compilation of a lot of your best songs on the album. Tell me about the process of pulling this together.
Yeah, it started like Angular Music wanted to work with us, and then of course we were just of the last album. And since we never had our album distributed actually in Europe or in US, but people were just writing on the website or buying at the shows. So the guys at a label said, why don't we make a compilation just to start and to see what could be the response on this. So we just try to, it's not very easy to squeeze like, I don't know, 50 songs, you know, in 10, to express your band with 10, 12 songs, but we basically put together the singles with the ones with the videos, the one able to express different moods. You know, we have some like punk rock song, more like traditional ones. So we try to find a balance on that one, and then we put a traditional, new recorded, and yeah. So it is. I mean, it would be a good way to introduce the band. We are already writing new songs. If the collaboration with Engineer Music works, then we're gonna even release the new album, hopefully.
Sure.
And that, yeah. Well, if you start knowing the band with our best song, the new album, it would be a terrible then, because it's not gonna start with the best songs. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Well, you have a new song on the album too, Molly Mcguire's, right? So like, was that a song that you had already ready, or did you make that, you know, with the intention of, you know, adding it to the album?
That one is a traditional Irish song.
Oh, okay.
Molly Mcguire's. And so at the very beginning of the band, we started like playing a lot of traditionals. You know, the very, very common traditional, like the Irish Rover, things like that. So since we had a new album to put out, and we wanted to stay on a traditional song, but something like less common, so we went to Molly Mcguire, and that's it. We just recorded for the occasion. We didn't had it ready before, so we just took one day at the studio and we made it with a very live vibe. You know, we made it as we play together in the rehearsal room. And there you go.
Yeah. And so do you have other songs that you're kind of gearing up for a new album? Like, are you writing and recording right now?
We are like millions ideas all over the hard disks right now, because we actually, in the 2 years of pandemic, since we don't experience anything, I mean, there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, so we wanted to go back on tour, to live life.
You got to have some life there to make the songs. Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, we could write like about cliches about, I don't know, drinking beer in the pub, but it's not what we're trying to head to. We're trying to talk about us. So it would take maybe 1 year or something like that to put all the ideas together. But we have this new compilation out, and then at the end of the year, we're gonna come up with a live album. Okay. Engineers, and then maybe it would be time for a new album.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's cool. I'm curious. Have you received any advice that, from any bands that you really respect that has helped you kind of pave the path that you're on, or it's kind of stuck with you? That's a tough one. I know. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we got when we've been with Dropkick, Warfield, and Flogging, they were both very, very happy, and then they were quite proud of like an Italian band who was paying a tribute to the Irish music. You know, it was kind of like they were even surprised, like, why you're into that? But then they were just like happy with that, and then every time we meet them on tour, they're always like very good with us, like, how's going the band, like we're friends, but of course we're not even 10 times smaller
Yeah.
than those bands, but it's good that in some way you're getting their friendship area, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, if like Ken from Dropkick say hey to you when he saw you around, it's just already a kind of miracle, at least. I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, you know, so it's something that we keep with us, and then it motivates us to do better and to continue.
Yeah, for sure. And so kind of looking back, you're on your 15th anniversary tour right now. What does it mean to you to kind of that this band has lasted for 15 years? I mean, that's a pretty monumental milestone.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, we didn't expect anything from this band, and then we really bring with us many amazing experience as a friend together, because you know you have to go through many different like situation to face, like massive travels and like great great results every now and then, but big dramas as well. You know, you have to fix things all the time. I don't know, putting songs together, trying to collaborate, but even fix the van together when you're stuck on the road, you know.
Yeah.
And so in the end, I think for the six of us, it's just a ride of our lives, because we've been spending, I don't say every weekend, but most of our weekends together in some random country, you know. So it's like we're used to do that, and these two pandemics years were like kind of killing us, you know. And then we went back on the road. It was like a big relief, like, okay, now we can do what we really like to. And so I think it really helped us being friends, or even more, as every band says, but just because it's true, being brothers, because you know you have to face a family condition most of the times, you know. Yeah. So I don't see me in any other band anyway right now. You know, you even forge your way of playing being related to the other member of the band. So
sure,
I'm pretty happy about that.
You get their style, and you're able to work together, you know, in a way that makes sense. And also, you know, you might have some petty arguments or something, right? But remember, that you're brothers, and you know, you're in it for the long haul, right?
Yeah, and then even, I mean, you're used to know big bands, very famous band, but even for bands like that, which are small, but we're together all the time. So we grow up a relation, we grow up a big friendship. I mean, is even if we're not like eating like the massive stages of the huge bands, we're anyway making a big friendship that keeps us together, and it's something good for my life, you know?
Yeah, and that's good. And being able to adapt to the, you know, the different locations too, play stages of different sizes. I mean, I'll take it back to Flogging Molly again, because that's like a commonality here. But I've seen Flogging Molly play, you know, 200 people, you know, clubs, and then also I've seen them open for Green Day at ATT Park, or the San Francisco Giants play, but you know, playing 50,000 people, right? And they still adhere to that same advice that Dave got, you know, no matter where they're playing, they play this show large, like it's, you know, like it's the last show that they'll ever do, right? And that's kind of a good way to go in. And you know, your band, I mean, you get the crowd going. You have this great live environment, you know. I mean, I obviously haven't had a chance to see you live myself, but from what I've seen in the videos, I mean, you have that energy, which is great.
Yeah, well, I think this kind of music, it's magic. I mean, if you put Dave King alone playing guitar and singing you a song, it's gonna work anyway.
Yeah. Oh, he always comes out too and does one song by himself, and it's just like, it's still powerful, right? And it's, you know, he commands that the respect of the audience. It's great.
Yeah, so the great thing with this music, it doesn't need like big gear or like big lights or big stage. It's very simple and it gets straight to the people. So one amp or a massive stage, but it doesn't make big difference, I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What do you like to do on tour? I mean, when you have time, what do you guys do for fun?
Well, now we got this new thing going. We bring skateboards and and we managed to break legs. But I mean, we are mostly in our 40s.
That's a good time to start skateboarding, by the way. I know, I'm not far. I'm a couple years behind you, but not mine. And I'm like, I don't know if I trust myself on a skateboard anymore.
Yeah, it's like we put this weird tag like old folks skate through.
Yeah.
So, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
So we.
Yeah.
No, I can show you. And so we. Sorry.
You're good.
So by now we are skateboarding, but we're gonna get off like in 2 months, I guess. Well, once we realize it's very dangerous, and then we try to stay in good shape, decent shape. So we try to eat well until we reach the show. Then we drink every. No, and then we read a lot on the van, and that's it. It's very simple. But mostly by now, mostly skateboard. Yeah.
Well, be safe with it, okay? Because we're getting older, and if you're breaking bones, that's not not fun on stage unless you have like the Dave Grohl throne, to sit on, But
exactly. We just have to sit in a random chair, which is not that good.
I know that's not very punk rock, right? So
exactly.
Yeah. Well, Silvano, I want to thank you for taking the time today. I appreciate it. And I wish you luck with the new music that you're making, the 15th anniversary tour, and hopefully getting out to the States. It'd be great to see you guys live, and even cooler if you guys were playing with Flogging Molly, mutual favorite of ours. So that'd be awesome. So.
Cool. Thank you to you. Yeah. I mean, it's great for us to reach people like you in the US. So hopefully we're gonna meet in California, maybe.
That was my interview with Silvano from Uncle Bard and the Dirty Bastards here on Concert Pipeline. And that takes us to the final segment on the program, the music news. All right, we got a couple of stories for the music news today. The first being that a couple of surprises actually in concerts, and Paul Simon was the star of one of the surprises. He was at the Newport Folk Festival during a tribute set, and he appeared on stage for Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats all-star set dedicated to his music. He doesn't do many public performances anymore. He showed up unannounced at the end of a tribute set to his music. And he had announced his retirement from touring in 2018, and since then has only sporadically performed in public. His last performance was in April at another tribute to himself in Los Angeles. So that's the key. You just got to have a Paul Simon tribute, and he will show up. All right, I know what to do now to get Paul Simon to come to a Concert Pipeline concert. I like it. And even the fact that Rateliff and the Night Sweats were closing the evening by paying tribute to Simon hadn't been fully announced until they took the stage Saturday evening. His 4-song set Saturday at Newport Folks Festival was one of the very few and longest performances of Simon's in the 2+ years since the pandemic began. And he kicked off his performance with Graceland before ceding the microphone to Rhiannon Giddens for a special updated rendition of American Tune. after then leading the crowd through a feel-good finale of The Boxer with Douglas Lucius Rateliff and Luke Nelson, whom he introduced as an old family friend. Simon took his bows and then closed the evening for good by performing The Sound of Silence by himself. What a cool set. And he said, "What a joy working with Nathaniel and his incredible band. The atmosphere at the festival was nothing short of wonderful." And Rateliff added, "It's hard to put into words the joy we felt bringing the great American songwriter Paul Simon in the Newport Folk stage. Thank you, Paul, for your songs, your voice, and your presence." Pretty cool stuff. Let's talk about a couple other surprise appearances. First off, Ed Sheeran. He made a surprise appearance with Snow Patrol at the Latitude 2022 festival. He performed Bad Habits and Just Say Yes with the band, who are closing the festival's main stage. The Northern Irish Scottish band, which features Sheeran's longtime co-writer Johnny McDaid, closed the Suffolk Festival with a 14-track performance on the main stage. Towards the end of their main set, Snow Patrol surprised the crowd by bringing out Sheeran to play a joint rendition of his hit single "Bad Habits." The singer-songwriter then returned to assist on the final track, "Just Say Yes." There's fan shot footage of that and official images which you can find online. People were probably really excited to see Ed Sheeran. Another surprise appearance is one that was not fully appreciated, I think, by probably some fans, and that is Kanye West. He appeared at Rolling Loud after canceling his headline slot. And he was somewhere else at the festival when he was supposed to perform his headline slot. So Kid Cudi replaced Kanye West on the bill at the Miami event when West, who is now officially known as Ye, decided that he would no longer be performing. It marked the Donda Star's second festival cancellation of 2022 following Coachella. Despite this, he turned up at the event to join Lil Durk for their recent Cardi B collaboration. Holy shit. They also performed Father Stretch My Hands Part 1. Meanwhile, Kid Cudi, who replaced West for his headline slot, walked off during his headline set at Rolling Loud after crowd members repeatedly threw items on the stage. Oh my gosh, what a mess. West and Cudi were previously close friends and collaborators, but have had a tumultuous relationship since the mid-2010s. They fell out again earlier this year, supposedly due to Cudi's friendship with Pete Davidson, the current partner of West's ex-wife, Kim Kardashian. Okay, we're getting into a lot of drama here that we don't need to talk about. But needless to say, weird that Kanye West would show up at a festival that he had canceled a performance at, and fans had been excited to see him, I'm sure. But he just showed up at someone else's set. Interesting. Another cancellation, though this one, not one that we can fault, is Eddie Vedder. Pearl Jam canceled their third consecutive show due to Eddie Vedder's vocal issues. Ed is regretfully still without a voice and unable to perform. The band scrapped a scheduled performance in Vienna after Vedder's throat was damaged by the heat, dust, and smoke from the fires at Lollapalooza, Paris last Sunday. He's seen doctors and had treatment, but as of yet, his vocal cords have not recovered. Pearl Jam wrote in a statement at the time. This is brutal news and horrible timing for everyone involved. And yeah, Pearl Jam, remember, had to cancel shows a couple months back in the Bay Area. They were able to make the Bay Area, the Oakland date, with the help of a band that called The Alive. The drummer from The Alive actually came out and played some shows because there was some COVID going on in Pearl Jam, so they're having a rough go of it right now, and hopefully they'll be able to pull out some shows soon when Eddie Vedder can get his voice back. Okay, last story of the day is about Tom Morello. He was tackled by security after a fan crashed the stage at Rage Against the Machine show, and that was in Toronto. The band were performing at the arena in the Ontario capital as part of their public service announcement North American tour, which began on July 9th. And prior to this run of gigs, Rage hadn't played live since 2011. As fan shot footage shows, one fan managed to make it up on stage via a set of steps during closing track Killing in the Name. A security guard was quick to respond and ran toward the man in an attempt to remove him. The stage crasher, however, fell into the pit as Morello was accidentally taken down by the security guard. Hold up, Zach de la Roche repeatedly sat down the mic, bringing the performance to a halt. Morello eventually managed to get himself back up on the stage and was met with cheers and applause from the crowd. Don't try that shit, de la Roche announced. We're cool, we love y'all, but don't do that. Rage Against the Machine then restarted Killing in the Name from the top. And there's, of course, video online, just like there's for everything. So that is it. That is the music news for today. I'm going to try and sleep, I think, soon. But hopefully you'll tune in next week for our program, because we have a doozy. We have a really freaking great interview next week that I'm super stoked to share with you. And that is Justin Warfield from She Wants Revenge. I had a chance to talk to Justin for like an hour. We had a great long chat, and we went deep in terms of what led to She Wants Revenge reuniting after a hiatus or retirement, I guess you could say, of sorts that happened in 2020. We went all over the place, and he had so many great stories to share, which I won't spoil right now. So you got to tune in next time for that one. So that is our show for today. Thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, all the fun stuff. Comment, do all of that, right? Appreciate you tuning in. For all of us here at Concert Pipeline, I'm Steve Jones. We'll catch you next time.